Hello everyone and welcome back. In this lecture we are going to have a look at our sample application and just go through its structure and how we are going to use it to understand each of the risks. So let me open my Visual Studio Code. So to start afresh, so I have a client folder which is my React application. This will act as my front end. Then I have a server folder which consists of all the Express API endpoint. Express is a Node.js module or package that you can use to create API endpoints with different routes. And as database, I'm going to use MongoDB Community Edition, which is running in my local machine, which I am connected to here. And just to show some example, I've already loaded some of the data for our application in my MongoDB database or collection. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we are not going to build this application from scratch because that is not the objective of this course. Our objective is to understand all the 10 OWASP 2023 API risks and vulnerabilities which are built in our Express API endpoints, in our routes, which are under the routes folder. So we're going to just identify these vulnerabilities in these routes and try to fix them. But to give you a little bit of an overview of how my Express is set up, if you go to my index.js, I'm using Winston Node.js package for my logging. The Express module itself to create my API app, and then I have a routes folder which consists of all the routes for authentication and dealing with all the data. So if you go to routes folder, I basically have a user schema, then books and authors, and few routes for authentication. For authentication, I'm using JSON Web Token, which are pretty standard in industry to create encrypted tokens based on users' information. As a next step, to have a better understanding of our application, I'm going to spin up these processes for my front end and back end and look at the UI which we will run locally. So let me open my terminal here. Now I can go to I'm going to start my server first. Just going to go to a folder and run npm start. And you can see that my Express API endpoint has started on port 3001 and also connected to my MongoDB instance. Now I can open another terminal. Now this time I'm in my client folder, and again I'm going to just start my front end. So here you can see that my front end has started on port 3000, and this is a very basic UI just to understand and go through each of the examples. I can sign up in this application as a user, then log in as a user or admin. Then we have some preloaded authors and books in the system or in database to perform some CRUD operations while going through all of those vulnerabilities and trying to fix them in different routes in our Express. Now in my database vulnerable REST API, I have preloaded some of the authors and books which are mapped to those authors by ID, by author IDs here. Then I have also created a default admin user. So I can go back and log in as my admin user and password. and then I should be able to see list of all the users. So I can see myself right now as admin. Then I have already pre-filled some of the authors and books which I map to those authors. And because I'm admin, I'm able to see some more functionalities like update and delete these entities, books and authors. Then I have a profile page after login where I can see all my details and edit and update them. Now if I log out and sign up, here I'm able to create new users. Let's name the user 1 as user 1. Let's keep the username as user 1, and I'm going to keep simple password, and sign up. Now I can go back here and log in as user 1, and once I'm logged in, again I'm able to see my own details here, my referral link which also has my user ID, and here again I'm able to see authors and books. But because I'm not an admin, I'm not able to see options to update and delete them here. And in my MongoDB, if I go to users table and refresh it, I can see a new user has been created, but this time the role is user and not admin. So this is our sample application and we are going to use it, and all these features that it has mapped to all the different routes here. For example, for authors we have get route to get all the authors, get authors by ID, then create authors, and then update author by ID and delete them. So basic CRUD operations for each of the entities. Here we have book, similar routes, all the CRUD operations, and then we have MongoDB schemas mapped to each of those entities for author, book, category, and the user token that we logged in with. And this will get logged in our tokens collection later in the course. So this is a very basic overview of our application and the very basic features to begin with. Later on in the course we will start looking into all these features and how we can improve them to fix each of the vulnerabilities. That's all for this lecture, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.